to the best of my ability. Mr. Speaker, I am a member of Chadema, but first and foremost, I am a patriotic Tanzanian. I am requesting your permission and the permission of my fellow colleagues here in this august House to once again be able to serve my nation proudly by working in the East African Legislative Assembly. May I please have your votes?
It's questions time now. Mheshimiwa Zito. Kaboyonga. Kaboyoka. Yes.
Thank you. Not yet?
Nani? Saada Mkuya, okay. Saada, asante nimekuona. Anza Saada.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Masha, we heard that you have been this experience of, security, being a deputy minister as well as Minister of Internal Affairs. Security is a main challenge in East Africa, given that there is a delay of signing a peace accord in Sudan, will definitely affect the security of the bloc. How are you going to use your experience to address this security issue if given a chance to represent Tanzanians in the EALA?
Thank you very much. Let me first start by saying that South Sudan is not the only major security problem in the area. We have a problem with Burundi currently. We have a problem with influxes into Kenya from Somalia. So it's not just a question of looking at South Sudan, but it's a question of looking at how we control the free movement of people within the region in order to ensure that our borders are protected. There are plenty of other things which we also need to do in terms of ensuring that places like Burundi, the political situation in Burundi is controlled, and as and when I can be used, I will use the experience which I have from the period when I was Minister for Home Affairs to assist in ensuring that we have a safe region around us so that we as Tanzanians stay safe as well.
Honorable Kaboyoka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. May I ask Lawrence Masha, how do you rate yourself being in the East Africa community? Where will you put our country? At what level do you expect to take our country from the present level to whatever level you're expecting to take it? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. First, let me start by saying this, that many people mistakenly believe that Kenya is the largest economy in East Africa. Although they are currently, Tanzania is potentially the largest economy in the region. It's a question of us knowing how to use the potential which we have properly in order to take advantage of the economic, the common market, the customs union, etc., and teach our people the advantages of being part of the East African community so that we can benefit and development which we have. I will work with my colleagues, I will work with the government to do everything that I can to ensure that we get the benefit of being a member of the EAC.
Honorable Zito.
Mr. Masha, you are one of the most senior candidates from all candidates we have here because of serving as the former Minister for Internal Affairs of our country. And one of the legacy you left as a Minister for Home Affairs was the integration of refugees from Burundi being naturalized, being Tanzanians, and that have massively solved the problem of security in our area after being Tanzanians. But we still have this problem. We still have a number of refugees from Burundi in refugee camps in Kigoma, more than 100,000. And the main problem that we have in Burundi is democratization. As a former Home Affairs Minister, how are you going to use your experience to help our nation within the East African integration to resolve what's going on in Burundi so that we reduce the number of refugees in Kigoma and let the people of Kigoma enjoy their fruits of the country without being disturbed by refugees?
Thank you, Honorable Kabwe. Let me start by saying as follows. Burundi has two problems. One is political. The second one is land pressure. So we must understand that when you're dealing with the issue of land pressure, we must figure out how we can accommodate either whether it's migrant farm workers and other type of activity within our country so as to allow them to release the tension in Burundi. When it comes to the tension, when it comes to the issue of the political issue, we have been working for a very long time trying to look for political solutions to the state of affairs in Burundi. When it comes to my granting of citizenship to the 165,000 Burundians who I granted citizenship to, first and foremost, it should be understood that that was a government decision, not a decision of the Minister for Home Affairs. My job was to implement it accordingly. But there were reasons for it being done. And the primary reason it was done, and I believe it was a correct reason, is because of the fact you had people who had been living in Tanzania as refugees for well over 40 years. They had no future. A child was born in Tanzania, goes to 15, 20, 30 years of age, living in a refugee camp, not knowing whether or not they belong here or there.
Thank you, candidate. I thank you so much. You now have one more minute to use it in winding up your presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, Mr. Prime Minister, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Ministers and Members of Parliament, mine is a humble request to you. I enjoyed serving my nation when I was a minister. I love this country dearly. I'd like to serve my nation again. Can you kindly please send me to the East African Legislative Assembly so that I can continue to work for the country I love? Thank you.
Thank you. You can now leave.
Thank you.
Thank you.